Hello all. Now I am going to demonstrate the construction of epicycloid. Epicycloid is a curve generated by tracing a point on the circumference of a generating circle when it rolls over another circle. Okay. Generally, the generating circle diameter will be smaller than the guiding circle diameter. Okay. So in that case, when you trace any point on the circumference, you will get a curve. That particular curve is called epicycloid. So there is slight difference between epicycloid and the cycloid, which we saw just before. In cycloid, the generating circle will rotate on a flat surface, whereas in epicycloid it will roll over a curved surface. Okay, so that is the major difference. So this is the question. So it shows that draw a epicycloid of a rolling circle, which is also called a generating circle, of 40 mm diameter, which rolls over another circle without slipping, which is of diameter 150 mm. Okay, so you need to trace for one complete rotation, and also you need to draw tangent and normal. Okay, so this is the question. So in the epicycloid, so before starting the construction, you need to do small calculations. See, in a cycloid, what happens? It rolls on the flat surface. So the distance covered for one complete rotation will be the circumference. Even in the epicycloid also it is same, but it is rolling over a circle. The circle means it's a curved path, right? So even it rotates for one complete rotation, the distance it's very hard to measure. So what happens? It will be something like this. This is the bigger circle and this is a smaller circle. So it rotates for one complete rotation, something like this. Okay, it starts here and it ends here. Okay, so even though we know if you trace on the circle, the distance will be equal to the circumference of the smaller circle, but it's very difficult to trace when we are doing the drawing. So what we are going to do is, we are going to calculate this angle. Let's take this as theta. We are going to calculate this particular angle. So to calculate this angle, what we need to do is, we need to take the ratio of smaller circle to the bigger circle, that is 2 pi small r. Let's take this as diameter small d and this is diameter capital D. So 2 pi r, that is the radius of the smaller circle, divided by 2 pi capital R into 360 degree. So if you do this, we will get an angle theta. So that theta will be the distance it takes to complete one complete rotation. Okay, so in that, for the given question, the theta will be equal to, so this 2 pi get cancelled because both are constant, so r by r. So the small radius is 20 and the bigger radius is 75 into 360. If you calculate this, you will get an angle of 96 degree. So the theta value is 96 degree. In your drawing sheet, you need to show these calculations to the right side of the drawing. So due to space constraint, I am going to erase it, whereas in the drawing sheet, for instance, if you are drawing, if it is here, this should come this part. Okay, as we calculated, the value of theta is 96 degree. Let's see how to do this problem, how to solve this problem. Okay, so you need to choose any point. Let's take this as the point. So the name of that particular point is O. Okay, so from here, arbitrarily you make a line at some inclination. Okay, so something like this. So then, as I told, this is the center of the bigger circle. So keeping this as the center, you need to make a arc something like this, and that should be drawn with HB pencil. Something like this, you need to make an arc. Okay. Okay. So this is the first step, and the second step is, you need to draw the generating circle. So something like this. Okay. So these are the first steps. So we drawn the guiding circle as well as the generating circle. Okay. So the next step is dividing the generating circle into some convenient divisions. Okay. So what I suggest is you go for 8 divisions. So already we have one line. So So perpendicular to that you make one more line, and that's at a 45 degree you make one more line, and 45 degree you make one more line. So you will totally get 8 divisions, and apart from that you need to mention the axis. So the axis will overlap with this line, so you get something like this. Okay. And also you need to now show whether it is going to rotate in the clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. So I have made the guiding circle here, so it's going to rotate in the clockwise direction. So if it rotates in clockwise direction, the numbering should be done in anti-clockwise direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So the next step is, keeping this as the center, you need to make a line for 96 degree. Something like this. Okay. You need to make for 96 degree. Okay. So the next step is, keeping over the center, you need to make multiple arcs, one passing through 1, 2, 3, 4. So the arc passing through 1 will pass through 7, and similarly 2 will pass through 6, 3 will pass through 5, and from 4 you need to make an arcs. Okay. So I forgot to mention, this is my center C. Okay. So keeping this as the center and this as the radius, you need to make an arc, something like this. As I told, I have made multiple arcs. Okay. So after completing this, you need to make one more arc that should pass through C. Okay. So something like this, we need to make on one more arc, so that should pass through C. That is important. So in the cycloid, the center, point 2 and point 6 will be in the straight line. So this step is not necessary in cycloids, whereas in epicycloid and hypocycloid, need separate arc passing through C. Okay. So the next step is, you need to divide this 96 degree into 8 divisions. So if you divide 96 into 8 divisions, you will get 12 degree per divisions. Okay. So you need to divide. Okay. So using the protractor, you divide these divisions. So something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So something like that you divide into 8 divisions, each at an interval of 12 degree. And after that you make a vertical line, you make inclined lines. Okay. So okay. You need to make divisions like this. Okay. So after this, these lines will intersect somewhere in your guiding circle. So there you need to make this as 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash, 4 dash, 5 dash, 6 dash, 7 dash and 8 dash. You need to mention that. Okay. So these lines will intersect on the line passing through the center as well. So there you need to mention as C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7 and C8. Okay. So with this we completed the construction lines. The next step is important. Okay. So the radius should be the radius of the generating circle, which is nothing but 20, and C1 as the center, you need to make an arc on the arc passing through point 1. So this is the center, you need to make an arc on this arc. Okay. So something like this it will come. And similarly C2 as center, you need to make an arc on the curve passing through point 2. So this is the curve passing through point 2. So C2 is here. If you do, you will get something like this. And C3, C3 and C4, C3, C4 and so this is C5 and this is C6, and this is C7, and from C8 if you mark, it will come here. Okay, you need to make something like this. Okay, you need to make something like this, and you need to name this point as P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, and P8. So from this point, you need to sequentially connect P1 to P8, okay, with a smooth curve. You will get a curve something like this. Okay, so this is your epicycloid. Okay, you dimension three things. One is the diameter of the generating circle, the radius of the guiding circle, and the angle. Okay, so these three things you need to mention. Okay, the generating circle, that is nothing but 40. Okay, so for dimensioning the guiding circle, you extend the line something like this. Okay. And from O, you make a line like this. Mention this as R75. So, and the third thing is the angle. You can mention it inside, or you can extend these two lines and you can mention it here. Okay. So, which is nothing but 96. So apart from that, you need to show the calculations here, okay? Because I don't have space, so I'm unable to show that. But in the drawing sheet, to the right side of the drawing, you mention the calculations, okay? So this is a solution for the first part. The second part is, you need to draw tangent and normal at any point on the curve, okay? So what I suggest is, you choose any point. Let's take this as the point, okay? Let's name that as capital P. Okay. So from this point, so this is the center, you need to make an arc on the curve passing through center. Okay. So the radius of that arc is the radius of the generating circle, which is nothing but the 20. So take your compass, take the measurement of 20, keeping this as the center, make an arc on the curve passing through center, something like this. After that, from this point, let's take this as say R. From R, you need to connect the O. So something like this. Okay. So after that, this over line will intersect somewhere on your generating circle. Okay. From that point, you need to extend a line to P, so that is your normal, and you need to draw perpendicular to that, right? So that is your tangent. So this is N dash N, and this is T dash. So after completing this, you need to mention it here. T dash is tangent, and N dash is normal. Okay, so if you look at this curve, so few things I drawn with red color marker. One is the generating circle, the guiding circle, and the curve, the tangent and normal. Except this, everything I drawn with a black color marker. So whichever lines I drawn with black color marker, that should be drawn with 2H pencil, and whichever thing I drawn with red color marker, that should be drawn with HB pencil. Okay, thank you.